Well, welcome back, Kittitas Valley Sports Talk fans. I am Eric Sorensen, joined here with Luke Olson. John Gouda is invisible. He's got his invisible cloak on. He's a Harry Potter fan. I believe he quotes that. So right, hopefully, John? Yeah. Hey, John, hopefully take the cloak off here soon and join us. But no, episode 24 brought to you by Fitters Furniture. And I don't think we have to even discuss who episode 24 is. I'm wearing his jersey right now.
That's right.
Hall of Fame patch on the sleeve. The King Griffey Jr. episode 24, and how fitting today is. I'm also jacked up today because it's pitchers and catchers reported. Pitchers are there today. Springs are.
Taiwan Walker's back.
Taiwan Walker's back with the Mariners. Let's see how that pans out. We'll see. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's been quite some time since he's been at the Mariners, but I think he's maybe out of his prime. I don't know if he ever was in his prime.
Yeah, he seems to get hurt all the time.
Yeah, maybe he'll peak. Maybe this is the time he'll. Yeah.
And you never know. I had a discussion today with someone about the same thing. Is he still better than Felix Hernandez?
Yeah. That's a good question. I don't know. We'll find out when Felix is pitching for the Braves.
That's right.
Makes it to the majors.
That's right. Like I said, this is episodes 24 is brought to you by Fitters Furniture. Get down, go see them on the corner of 4th and Main. They have a busy weekend ahead of them. I know that there's the Spirit of the West is in town this weekend, and they have people set up in their displays, doing cowboy poetry. So go down and listen to some poetry, check out some furniture, go buy something, tell them Valley Sports Talk fans are listening, and they're going shopping there. And I think in that corner window, you're going to see us here in a couple weeks.
That's right, yeah.
I think that's going to happen here soon.
That'll be pretty fun.
That will be. So hopefully we can pack the house and we can get some furniture sold there that day.
Yeah.
I think today is, I'm seeing about 55 out. We're recording this on Wednesday afternoon. It's beautiful. I feel like I should be out at the baseball field getting it ready. We should have practice today, but it's still February. And yesterday was a true spring day that was blowing about 100 miles an hour.
That's right, yeah.
And, roll into, I know we were working, and I said, Dad, it sucks out here. Let's go to Granger. We went down there, watched the Kittitas boys play. I had to pick up my daughter, so we had to leave early. Didn't get to watch the girls play, but the girls won too.
Yeah, the girls survived. I believe they play. They play tomorrow, Thursday, against White Swan, and I think it's winner is guaranteed a spot in regionals and losers out, and the winner also plays in the third and fourth game. How about the Kittitas boys? They won 2 games, beat can't remember who they beat yesterday by 1.
They beat Walla Valley Academy.
That's right, and they advanced to the EWAC championship versus
White Swan.
Third
time's a charm, baby.
And so Kittitas boys are guaranteed a spot into the regionals, and we'll see where they go from there.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive. I don't think many people thought that they'd make it this far, considering they lost Brock Reve and the other 4 seniors and their head coach.
Right.
It's like a brand new program. They got Justin back, which was big.
Yeah.
And it sounded like he had a pretty good night.
He did. You got to see sheer toughness of a kid. And, the people that always say the kids just aren't the same nowadays. Well, Justin, he left a little bit of a ankle problem, and he came back and toughed out the second half and he got that thing going. He started hitting 3-pointers, and it was awesome. It was fun to see a kid's grit and determination and his toughness go out and go help win a game. And then you had the freshman, Josh Ross, back. That kid, he's fun to watch too.
Yeah.
I'm super pumped to have him in this spring on the baseball diamond. But he balled out, and, Catlin had a good game, and Cody Van Dorn did well. I was impressed with him. He kind of dominated. Wall's big. They're tall. And the kid, ice in his veins, Dawson Byers, gets fouled with, 10 seconds left, something like that, and he misses the first one. The second one, he drains it. And luckily, because Wava hits a 3-pointer as time runs out to get him within 1, and if he doesn't make that free throw, we're overtime, and who knows what happens there.
What was your dad's thoughts?
He was, he said once the team got going, they're fun to watch, and it kind of was a slow start for Kittitas, and it beat Fix and Corrals at 40-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah,
it was a great
day.
Yeah. Heck yeah. And actually you are going to get out of here shortly because the Ellensburg boys, right?
Ellensburg boys, they play Ephrata tonight. Winner moves on to the semifinals. Ellensburg boys defeated I'm slipping who they played on Monday. Number 6 seed. I can't remember, but they won and they advance. And if they beat Ephrata, like I said, if they beat Ephrata, they move on to the semifinals, and it's I'll be there tonight.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Ellensburg girls have a little bit of break right now.
Yep. They won't play till Saturday, and that will be at Central. They with their
sweet
perfect season, they got two buys. So
dang, who they got? I guess they're probably not sure yet.
It's not sure, yeah. But
it's an exciting time.
Yeah, it is.
Like last week, catch the episode. We had Coach Jeff Whitney in and talked about the season they had. And go check that out if you haven't already. And the other exciting news. And I think they lost last night. But Cle Elum boys, we talked to Eric Terrell. Their goal was district tournament, first time in a long time, and they did it. And they're there and they're playing. And I think they got one more game still. Guaranteed one more game. I mean.
Yeah. No. I'm not sure if they're guaranteed or not, but they did lose to Riverview, the first, which is kind of a tough seed. Riverview, I believe, only lost one game, but it was pretty cool for Eric and the team. 18 years is a long time. Like I said in my story, most of those kids weren't even born yet. But pretty cool for maybe I'll build something, maybe Eric can build some, kind of a program going there, and we'll see what happens. But, yeah.
Well, that's pretty exciting for them, and hopefully they get, so they are done, or they got one more game.
I believe they're done.
They're done, okay.
Yeah, since it's districts.
Right.
Yeah.
And the Cle Elum girls.
Yeah, they played tomorrow.
Okay.
I can't remember who they got, but it starts tomorrow as well. Their district tournament.
We got wrestling coming up here soon. I know the Kittitas and Ellensburg gone through districts.
Yeah,
I think the MAC Classic's coming up soon.
Yeah, regionals are this weekend. Ellensburg Ellensburg sent 6 to regionals. One of our reporters at the Daily Record was there, and this week in the newspaper you'll find out how Kittitas is. What the prospect looks like for them, but what I do know is Tony Rios, sophomore, is 28-0 this season.
Damn.
And he's only wrestled. Last year was his first year wrestling, so he'll be at regionals, and I think another kid named Paul Jones will be at regionals as well. But Tony, probably to look out for Tony in the 120 weight class. That's pretty cool. That's
pretty awesome. A strong program and traditionally, and it's glad to see that Coach Treat's got them boys going well out there.
Yeah, it's a coach who's had some success with when he was in high school. So, I think he's looking to build that program up as well.
Keep the tradition going there.
Yeah.
The other thing we got going, and I should have pulled it up here before we got going. Big game tomorrow night. I think we've already covered all the preps.
Yeah.
Moving on to Central. The boys basketball team, after they knocked off the Western, and you YouTubers watching, I still got the shirt up. Speaking of that, get on YouTube, watch us if you haven't already. We got the broadcast on there and our new setup and the fun T-shirt behind us. And then they knocked off MSUB Thursday, and still kind of a small crowd. So if you guys are listening to this, they're in Alaska this week, but the following week they come home for the final 2 games. I believe they play.
They got both.
Last 2, Western Oregon, and then they got maybe Northwest Nazarene. I believe.
No, they beat Northwest
here. That's right.
Already. They play. I believe Concordia.
You're right.
And Concordia is this will be the last time they'll ever play them.
Done.
Considering they're closing down the school.
That just blew my. Have you ever seen a university shut down?
No, I haven't. That's I was just thinking, just the other day. I've never really seen a big university. I mean, there could have been some small ones, but this is really the first one I've ever even heard of.
And we're not talking about athletics. We're talking about everything.
Yeah, everything. Yeah. Actually, Ryan Kuhn, the old sports editor at the DR, sent me a text and said, "Did you see Concordia is shutting down?" And I was like, "Which sport?"
Yeah.
And he said the whole school. So
doors are closing.
As far as basketball, it's just going to be 10 teams now in the GNAC, which I think makes it a little better, even. I don't know. And the other sports, they've got no football, but they do have soccer and I believe softball.
Yep, softball, baseball. And the bummer part is that baseball just got the automatic bid to regionals, to a regional tournament just by winning the GNAC tournament. And before, you had to go beat the California schools. And losing Concordia, that I'll be curious to see how it goes in the future, because I heard they're going to be guaranteed that spot a couple more years, but unless they pick somebody else up, they don't have enough teams in the conference to get an automatic bid to a tournament playoff.
Oh, yeah. So that's
a big one for spring sports.
That will change, yeah. Basketball will make a difference, but
right.
Hearing that, yeah. But yeah, so the Central men's teams
Right.
got
Fairbanks tomorrow night
against Spar. So and
recently off his 400th win, fitting he gets that against Western.
yeah, and they've knocked off both the top 2 teams in the league with SPU giving them their only loss, and then now his old rival in Western. Right. I wonder if the rival's the same.
Oh, I bet that guy still got hate for them. I guarantee it. And once a Wildcat and hate for those guys. I think it's safe to say that Thursday's matchup with Central and Fairbanks is the 2 hottest teams in the GNAC.
For sure, yeah. 7-7 versus I believe Fairbanks is 8-5.
Yeah, and
that's a big game for Central. And then they got Anchorage, and Anchorage I think dropped down to 7-6 or 7-7, but yeah, it's pretty exciting for Central. I know they're feeling pretty good how they play right now.
Absolutely. I think it's they if they can come back from Alaska with 2 wins and then get that win against Western Oregon, I think that sets them up pretty damn good for the playoffs.
Yeah, they'll have to play SPU last game of the year, but
take care of the wins before that game.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't doesn't matter for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The women, I guess they're still going strong and
yeah, they're sitting in 5th, I believe, at 8-5, 8-6. They're right in that area. They lost to Alaska Anchorage, which is they're number 8 in the country.
Right.
But
they're decent at
yeah.
basketball.
I mean, it's kind of Central kind of surprised me this season. I thought they're going to make the tournament. I assume they're a good team, but they were picked as the GNAC favorites, but I guess it means nothing. Even Randy Richardson said that before the season. The polls and all that mean nothing, but they're still playing well, and they have the capability to beat good teams, and they had a chance against Anchorage. They were down. I mean, they were never out of reach. They had a pretty strong first quarter. They took like a 22-15 lead, and then they're only down 1 at the half, and only down 5 heading into the fourth quarter. And then Anchorage went on a little run, and then Central responded back to get within 6, and then with like a minute 30 left. But then it just kind of fell off from there. But they have the ability to compete with good teams. They took some hard losses to to the top teams. Not hard losses, but took some losses. But yeah, so.
Right. Well, the Central softball team looks like they split with Dixie State this last week, and then kind of had a tough tournament there at the Dixie State tournament. They went 1 for 4, lost to some good D2 schools, but they got University of Puget Sound this weekend. Central baseball came back 500 at the Academy of Art down in there in the Bay Area, and they head to Oregon. Games just got moved up for weather. It kind of ticks me off because I was going to go watch Saturday, Sunday, doubleheader Saturday, single game Sunday against Corbin University, but it got moved up because of weather. Doubleheader Friday, single game Saturday with a weather report that says downpour rain Saturday.
So you would have saw your former player, right?
That's why I was going. They're facing Jaden Metter, Kittitas High School alumni.
Yeah.
That was going to be my chance to go see him, and hope maybe I'll.
That's too bad.
I don't know if I'll get my wife convinced to be able to leave and go on a 5-hour drive on Valentine's Day. She has to stay at work Friday, so
yeah.
I don't know if I'll be able to leave on Valentine's Day, but I'm hoping to get down there. If not, I'll try to catch Jaden when they play at LC State this year. But
yeah, I think you're stuck.
I don't think I'm going. I think it's a pretty safe bet.
About a 1% chance.
Absolutely. And then, so they got that going. And both softball and baseball should be opening up league play. Actually, the baseball opens up league play at the end of this month.
Yeah.
February. Softball's back in March, but
spring's coming around pretty quick.
It's coming around. And actually, spring, our next couple episodes, today we're doing the baseball preview for the 3 high school teams. And we got Todd Gibson calling in. We got Colby Sherrell from Cle Elum supposed to be calling us in. And the Kittitas coach, he's kind of being difficult.
Yeah, he's
a difficult one to get a hold of.
We might just pass.
We might pass on him.
Yeah.
But we'll have the baseball, and then next week we're trying to get, the next couple of weeks we'll get softball, and so I guess right now we're going to lead into, after this message from Fitterers Furniture, you're going to get a coach. We're not sure which one yet. It's go ahead and call now, coaches, and we will be there back with just a moment with one of the 3 head high school baseball coaches in the Valley.
That's right.
Is a new sofa calling your name this new year? Maybe a recliner? Whatever furniture needs replacing, when it comes to furniture upgrades, you can trust the professionals at Fitterers Furniture in Ellensburg. A knowledgeable sales staff, certified interior designers, and 3 floors of quality home furnishings are just some of what you'll get at Fitterers. Fitterers also offers in-house financing, free delivery, and haul away in Central Washington. Fitterers Furniture, quality furniture since 1896.
Fitterers.
Well, Valley Sports Talk fans, we are back. We are joined by head coach of Cle Elum Roslyn Warriors, Colby Sherrell. Thanks for joining us today.
How are you guys? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, and we're super excited to have you on. I know that being a baseball person in today's weather, it's just getting the blood flowing, getting that baseball itch going, isn't it?
Absolutely. I was saying earlier, I was out there today, just seeing what I could do, and I was talking to the grounds guys, and we're about a month actually ahead of schedule from where we were in years past. Mm-hmm. So, being able to forecast potentially being outside on day one, as a county and not just ourselves is a huge plus for us for the upcoming season for sure.
Absolutely. I'm curious to see, and maybe you guys haven't had this problem in the past, but it'll be fun to see arm health this year and how healthy our pitchers are going to be.
Oh, absolutely. I just got back from the Northwest coaches clinic, and they were talking about, stretching it out. And that was a big, focus for me, trying to figure out what we can do, especially when we get later into the season. We seem to putz out or have arm issues. So, getting outside and just being able to air it out from day one and be able to take our time rather than trying to speed everything up inside is going to be a huge benefit, I think, especially as the season goes on.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, talk us about your team a little bit, the 2020 Cle Elum Roslyn Warriors, and see how what's the team looking like this year? What's some things to highlight?
I think for the most part, we're pretty unknown. We don't have any true varsity contributors coming back. I would say we have guys that had some innings but weren't the highlight guys. Obviously we graduated Adam Rinaldi last year, who was our big stick, and this year with Keenan Everett, he's going to have to step in and take on that number one role on the bump. So that's going to be interesting to see how he takes that. But as far as other positions, we're looking at pitch by committee, position by committee right now. Our biggest hole right now, I'd have to say, is we're looking for a catcher, and if you can't find an adequate catcher, especially at our level, it could be a long season for sure. So, we're going to have our work cut out for us the first 2 weeks, especially trying to figure out who's who and who's going to fit where. Mm-hmm. But all in all, it's going to be exciting. I know the guys from football, so and with the success the basketball team had, I don't foresee any big issues other than weather and grades,
So are you going to get some guys from the basketball team and football team? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and that's kind of like why I joined on with the football program this last year, was just hopefully just to get that cyclical group of guys going through all the programs. And I've talked to a few basketball players that are going to be coming out for the first time. That's going to add some athleticism, to the lineup a little bit, hopefully. And then football, we're just hoping maybe an attitude, maybe a mentality, maybe just some consistency. But again, baseball is such a different beast than basketball and football, as we know, that, you could be a stud on the hard court and come out and it could be a struggle.
Yeah. So you lost Adam, and he was kind of your big batter, and he also tossed a lot of innings, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Who were kind of other seniors that were big contributors that you lost last season?
Let's see. We had Dylan. We lost Dylan Weiss last year. Adam Rinaldi. There's a couple of other guys that I can't really think off the top of my head, but they're juniors. We have a group of juniors that, with Connor Hilberg and Griffin Bator, those group of guys, I think they could really step out of the shadows, especially in a leadership role. Mm-hmm. We were built around small ball last year, so numbers didn't really dictate how guys contributed and whatnot. So it's going to be a different issue this year, especially since we don't have a 500 hitter or a 400 hitter right off the get go.
Mm-hmm.
if that answers your question.
Yeah.
Oh, and you gotta love the small. I love the small ball game. It's fun to play. No, it's always fun to have those hitters that can sit there and jack home runs. But
Well, and like I've only had maybe one or two like guys in the Worsland brothers that could actually do it probably consistently. So we're built around that, and especially I think it'll definitely help being outside earlier to be able to create a philosophy and an identity with small ball and whatnot. But inside, trying to recreate small ball situations is almost comical at times.
Yeah.
If you don't have the space.
So small ball is something you kind of want to continue this year, I guess?
Oh, absolutely. I'm always pretty hyper aggressive when it comes to small ball. That's been my MO since high school. So I'm not going to change it. As Country knows, we were doing that stuff when he was 15. And it just, the players dictate, how aggressive, I can get. I prefer the National League, but if I have an American League squad, I'm going to let them swing it, obviously,
Yeah.
well, so who are some of the people or the teams in your league that are going to be the main competition that will be going after?
Zilla's got a kid that they just signed, I believe, with Utah.
Right.
So they're. I'm not going to say that's one notch for them every time they go out in a 3-game series, but that's going to be pretty tough to beat. Pac-12 guy.
Right.
So and athletically they seem to always find guys, maybe not so much true baseball guys, but just athletes in general. Natchez is always going to be up there just because of their reputation and their history. Goldendale might be suspect this year with just the sheer volume of guys that they have coming out. I know that they had almost 30 last year.
Ooh.
So that's going to be, anytime you have that amount of kids, you're bound to find 2 or 3 kids that can pump it a little bit or hit a baseball. So that makes me nervous. But that means that we're just gonna have to do things a little bit different, a little bit better, compete a little bit. Should be fun. That's why we're at the small level.
Yeah. What was your what'd you think of you guys dropping down to 2B next year? And you'll be able to, you'll be facing Eric now.
Well, everyone, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, people on one hand are saying how great it's going to be, but I think if you're realistic and you actually look at the teams that we're playing, the competition level isn't actually any different. But in fact, on a week in and week out basis, I think it actually gets more competitive for us. So I don't think there's any guarantees. I like the old Valier. I like the Kittitas. I like, playing against teams that I played against. I like playing against teams that are a little bit more sized with us. But as far as, dropping down just because we're going to win, I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, we're still going to have to play baseball. We're still going to have to, do things in the off season. But I do think it'll be interesting, revisiting that county rivalry again, Kittitas Cle Elum. Those used to be some good games back in the day with the Jimmy Hill and Jason Cooey and those boys.
Oh yeah, that's really going.
That's my era.
The glory days of Kittitas baseball.
That was good. Hey, that was a good era. I think he even had Ted Giese, maybe?
Right, Ted Giese, Reese Brown.
Ted Giese, that was my first high school at bat. Ted Giese, 3 pitches.
Oh, there you go.
So what should this rivalry? It needs a new name. What do you got for it?
I don't know. You're gonna have to go with country on that one.
I've been trying to figure that out too, and I even put it out on our Facebook, and we've got a few good answers, but.
Yeah. We've got to, hey, and we can make it. The cool thing about it is it's a 30-minute drive, and there's so many different things that you can add into a baseball game, to get such a event and in an inter-county event, because there's so many families that are intermingled between, upper and lower. It could be a pretty cool deal, I think, especially, I coached you little punk.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I'm not going to go Bill Belichick and let all my players beat me, so
That's funny.
So, but it's gonna be awesome, because I've seen what Eric's done up there. Obviously Todd's had a good run and still is gonna have a good run. Maybe we could just add a little bit more respect to county baseball like it was back in the day.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely be a lot of fun, and I know we're looking forward to the travel distances in this new division. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
So when are tryouts for the team, and when's the first game?
Let's see, March 2nd, I believe, is our first report day, and then let's see, we're exactly 10 days after that. We have Grandview at Grandview for a doubleheader, so that'll be good. We played them the last 2 years. They're not the strongest 2A, but they've definitely gotten better in the last 3 years. So yeah. It'll be good to just be outside, obviously, and get some innings in before we play. I think our opener is Nat Cheese.
Yeah.
So it'll be good for us. It'll be good for us.
Well, thank you, Colby, for joining us, and good luck this season. And we'll check in halfway through the season with you, and I'm pumped for you. I don't have a foot of snow right now, so you guys can get going day one.
Absolutely.
Well,
thank you guys. Appreciate it. Mm-hmm. Go Warriors.
All right. Thanks, Colby.
All right, boys.
All right, Kittitas Valley sports fans. We have another guest this week. Well, I don't know if we'd call him guest, but co-host Eric Sorensen, Kittitas baseball coach for the last couple of years. Their season's getting going as well. Coach, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's great to be here today. What a great studio you got. And,
yeah, it's
what a nice table.
I know.
Made that?
Gosh, yeah. Well, baseball is coming up for you guys pretty soon. When do you guys start? When's official practice, tryouts?
March 2nd 's first practice.
Okay.
Our first game is March 17th. We go down to our yearly trip to Sila's JV night game. Exciting for the kids, and yeah, we're getting rolling.
Yeah. So what are you looking forward to this season, and what's the team look like?
I'm extremely excited about this team and the fact that I've had this year circled for quite some time because of knowing the senior group we have and the freshmen we have coming in, the glue in the middle. And we return a lot. I know last year was a big disappointment for everybody on the team. We didn't go nearly as good as we thought it would, and we're going to learn from it, and we already have, I think. And our kids played about 25 games this summer as a team, and I'm excited to see how that pans out with this crew.
Yeah. Who did you lose much, or?
We lost 2 seniors.
Okay. Who were those 2?
Timmy Tossison and Caleb Harris.
Oh, that's right.
And 2 outfielders. So we got a couple outfield spots opening up. But the good news is we got a couple young guys that can play there, and we got a couple current guys that are outfielders, and guys that can swing a stick are going to find their way in those spots.
Yeah. Is there any other voids besides those 2 outfield positions, or you think every other position is almost?
Every position's open in the fact that the competition, but yeah, we're going to be deep at quite a few positions this year, and so it's kind of a small B school coach's dream. What we have is, as long as we stay healthy and eligible, and there's going to be some depth to this roster. Yeah. I think the only other ones are pitching staff. Is there's still things to be determined.
Yeah,
and
who's kind of your ace?
It's open. We got
open.
And open. There's a couple guys that have a kind of their foot in the door of that. Blake Catlin he's one of the harder throwers on our team, and he's a really good pitcher. And Colton Udiger has put in a lot of work in the offseason, and we'll see how Justin does. Hudson, how his arm is, and Dawson Gilson, he's a dude that comes out and throws strikes and balls out. So
yeah,
there's definitely, we have a big pitching staff this year, and got a lot of guys that can glue it, and hopefully we got a new freshman, Connor Coles. I understand he's a pretty good little pitcher, and
yeah,
it'll be kind of fun to watch.
And who are the other freshmen?
Connor Coles, Hunter Smith came out and played a little bit with us, and I should have put the roster in front of me. Names that slipped my mind, but we probably got 5 or 6 freshmen playing this year that watching them last year. They're all good. Jet Temez, whose mom was on the podcast a couple weeks ago, the cheer coach.
Yeah.
And Jet will be a big one because he's our catcher. So Blake is able to pitch now with Jet's a really good catcher.
Oh, nice.
And so we got someone to back him up, and a guy that can work his way into a starting spot if he wants to.
Yeah. So what's the identity going to be like for this team? What are you guys going to when people think of Kittitas?
And it's a yearly thing, is dirtbag baseball. And I don't mean dirtbag in a bad way, as in like bad people. I mean dirtbag is when they're leaving the field every night, they're going to have the dirtiest uniforms in the park, and they're going to be able to bunt. They're going to be able to hit. Our offense has to be able to swing it. There's days that wind blows 50 miles an hour, and we need to lift and separate and try to get the ball in the air. And then there's days we're going to face a kid like Logan Mercado for Tri-Cities Prep who's pumping upper 80s going to the University of Oregon. And you know what? We're going to probably have to lay a couple bunts down for base hits against that guy and small ball him to death. And so, we like to have diversity in what we do. And I think our kids were starting to hit the crap out of the ball when the summer was over.
Yeah.
And if they kept that in throughout the year, then we'll be just fine.
When was summer baseball? When did that go?
It started June and ended. Actually, we worked up to the very last day of July.
Okay.
Yeah,
and most of the kids were there that are
most of them there.
Freshmen and
kid from Thorpe, Colby Morris, he hit the crap out of the ball this summer, and he's a kid that has an opportunity to earn himself a spot too.
What year is he?
He's going to be a sophomore, and if I'm wrong, Colby, I apologize.
And so obviously Justin Hudson's probably the biggest name coming back.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to Yakima Valley
Right.
College next season for college baseball. What's it like to have him back?
It's pretty exciting. I'm pumped to have him, and a dude that hit 600 last year, and he's a presence. He was the third leading vote getter behind Mercado and Max Nelson, who's graduated. So I think if he has a year that he's capable of, he's going to be up there in the top two again. And I think my biggest thing for Justin is he played for the Packs all summer, so he got plenty of baseball in. And I know that he needs to come in and not put pressure on himself. He needs to come in and play, have fun. All the kids need to do is come in, have fun, and be my favorite quote is play the game with the mind of a man but the heart of a little boy. If he does that, he's gonna be very successful. And just have fun, man.
Yeah. And so you guys kind of had a little dip near the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
What do you kind of think happened, and you said the team learned from it? How are these guys going to apply it this coming season?
I think there was a couple, bad eggs or whatnot and what we figured out, and we got that taken care of. And, we went toe to toe, took prep to a full 7-inning game in game one, and we had them beat into the fourth inning until we had an injury. And then I think it was 6 errors in a row, and we lost that game.
Yeah.
And from then it seemed like our season kind of went down, and, we're taking the kids over to Cross Point High School, which is a 2B school over in Bremerton, and we're going to spend the night. Take them. Half the kids have never seen a shipyard before, so we're gonna lock them together for a day, at least in vans, and take them over there, spend the night, and then play the game the next day. And team camaraderie. If we combine and be one solid unit, I think this team can be to a Final Four.
Yeah.
If we all try to go our separate ways, who knows?
Yeah.
They'd have to repeat, but
yeah. All right, cool, Coach.
Well, thanks. Appreciate it having me here, and maybe you'll invite me back sometime.
I'll give you a little mid-season review and see how you're doing. And
Sounds good.
All right.
Well, thanks. All right, Kittitas Valley Sports Talk fans, we're back. We got the trifecta. The Cle Elum coach called. The Kittitas coach finally showed up, and now we got on the horn, 3-time state champ, Ellensburg High School boys baseball coach, Todd Gibson. Thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Well, we're just doing a preview of this season, and talk us through. I think it's pretty fair to say we're going to have a good jump on the season, being the fields are clear already. But talk us through the team you got coming up this year.
Well, we're probably in as much of a different spot than we've been in a long time. Going to have quite a few new faces on the field. We're starting off with a team that originally had pretty good pitching going into it, and for high school, Eric, that's you can have 2 good guys at least in our league, and if you have a third, you're really tough. Well, as basketball knows, they lost Hunter, and so did we. So I thought we probably had the 2 best 1-2 combo, not in just our league for sure, maybe top 3 in the state. So that was one of our strengths. And then going off of that, we were going to be pretty young in every other spot on the field, just to be brief about it, especially at the catching spot. Been pretty fortunate to have D1 type catchers just fall in our hands, things we really didn't have to do with them. Super talented offensively and defensively. So that's an area we're going to have to build up. And I think we got some good young talent in the infield and the outfield. We were steady there for 3 or 4 years too. So that's going to be pretty new for every kid, depending on what we do with Davis. But if you want to talk about individuals later, I'll go into that. That's kind of where I see us.
So obviously you have Davis back on the mound. I mean, how big is having him come back for his senior year, and what do you kind of expect out of him?
Well, I was talking to him at the basketball game last night. Everybody knows who he is, probably not just in our league, again, across the state. Big, tall, can throw hard, had success as a sophomore and junior. And, just one of the things I said to him last night at the basketball game is our best player's got to be our hardest worker. And so we're looking for new leadership because we've had so many of these good kids that were in the lineup for 3 years. And now he's not just pitching for us, but, offensively even. A lot of people don't know this, but he actually can swing it and going to be in the meat of the order, I'd say in the top 3 or 4 spots, definitely. So I'm looking for him to be a leader. And there's a couple other seniors that have had some time besides Hunter, of course, that have been getting their time behind all these talented kids that I think will pay dividends. It might not show up in March, and we got a pretty tough schedule, but by the time we get to the end, maybe they'll be seasoned enough that they'll pick it up. Max has obviously got some talent. Gavin, Riker's throwing a little bit, and then we got some young arms too. I think that will just kind of show themselves here in the first couple of weeks that we can use.
Mm-hmm. Coach, talk about that schedule. You mentioned it kind of generically there, or briefly. What do we got? What do we got going on to start the season?
I laugh because when you look at what you got coming back, and our strength was pitching. And I hate to dwell on it. It's not something I'm going to do once we start practice, obviously. But I scheduled according to having 2 arms that were upper 80s, low 90s, wanting guys to compete against us, put the ball in play so we could be in close ball games and have to fill the ball off of state caliber type teams. So what I did was went and scheduled all teams that finished in 2A state for non-league, and and then decided to take a break with Lake Stevens, a 4A powerhouse that'll come to us in a doubleheader when we play Liberty, who was a quarterfinal team.
Wow.
Yeah. So, we'll preach like we always have, just, follow the process and throw some strikes, and hopefully we'll be able to stay in games. But I think our kids have been around enough. They know how to do that. So we'll see how they react to it.
Well, talk about that a little bit with us, and you don't have to share all your secrets by any means, but I know you guys are big on that, the mental side of baseball, and just how big is that for your guys' team?
It's been 4 or 5 years, but even before that, Brian came to Ellensburg High School and just pretty much did a clean sweep of all the programs when Eric Davis was here. Excuse me. And there are no secrets to it. It was pretty generic at first. It was finding out what your core covenants were, what represented our program, basically in 3 words. And we just followed the worksheets and the workbook, to be honest with you. And it wasn't until, the first year we did it, we went 20-0 in league.
Yep.
And we kind of thought that had something to do with it. And we finished 22-2. Ran into some good teams in the playoffs, and but it was after that I really felt like you seen the difference, because the kids made it theirs, and there's the mental game that you can read out of a book, that you can do out of a worksheet. And then Cole Canyer came along, who was also a baseball coach and a former Ellensburg High School player, of course, that just it really personalized it with all of us other former Ellensburg guys and coaching these Ellensburg kids, that this is who we are. And then when, and you get some lucky bounces to win enough games, the kids start to believe in it, and it actually does work. And then they own it. and we don't really, there's a lot of it that we don't coach anymore, but we meet every Wednesday. We don't even go outside. That's the first 45 minutes of practice, and we kind of determine the topic as we go through the season, where we see our shortcomings and then just try to fix it.
Coach, when you say we see our shortcomings, is that something that's kind of led by you as the coaches, or maybe the team leaders, or is that kind of an open dialogue where it's pretty obvious what you need to focus on?
I would say, well, we have another thing we call BP Monday. And most people, when they think of baseball, they think of batting practice, right? And BP, when you hear the initials BP. Well, for us on Mondays, the whole program meets in the bleachers for the first 15 minutes of practice, and it's called Bulldog Pride. And what we do is it's a good review of the weekend. And as coaches, whether it was through text on the bus ride home, usually a lot of text, where we came up short on the process. Maybe the results were what we wanted. Most of the time we're winning, so they get this false security that they're doing everything right. So we try to pick everything apart on that Monday, and then that just sets the tone for how we plan to attack the week. And our practices are scripted Monday through Friday if we're not playing on Tuesdays, down to the detail of what they're going to throw to us on Saturday. Like, they got a good lefty, and all of our base running stuff comes off of that. So that BP Monday plays into it. And then the we is Cole Canier. He does the classroom part of it, but he usually will get to me on Monday through an email, and we just communicate. He'll ask me, hey, what'd you see? What is it that we want to attack this week? And that we go from there. And it may be through videos. And I told him, even this year, I said I want to personalize a little bit more to our program, where we came up short last year, even though it was a successful season. We just, where we fell apart on the process, and see if we can better it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So besides, the void, you kind of talked about behind the plate, is there any guys you kind of see that could fill that role, or you just is there a few guys you're kind of looking at?
Well, I really liked what we did last year again with the June ball. So I worked with 12 kids, and I had Brady Robick, who was a volunteer coach last year with me. And so Kyler Delvo did some catching. And then we had Jack Morrill was, not with our program. He played with the River Dogs, I believe. He was a younger catcher in our program. So there's a few kids coming up. And then by chance, Cameron Campbell and Jaden Bugney are going to be in town. So I'm going to try and utilize their expertise and getting down there early. Mm-hmm. One of the things that, we probably, like Eric would do early on in practice, you have individual defense. And we've been pretty fortunate, again, with those good catchers that you can almost send them off on their own. There was usually a coach there, but usually as an assistant. Mm-hmm. And now I think we need to just manage that time a little bit better. And that's what we're working on right now, just back planning on practices. And I could foresee, hey, we don't need Jaden Bugney handing us a ball to hit a fungo. This kid's got to be doing something else.
Coach, I love talking about, the coming season, but, you mentioned a couple of big names there who are, successful alums, and do you keep in touch with, some of the guys that have gone on and played elsewhere, or how often do those guys maybe visit practice, or at least communicate with the team that you have?
Well, I think when any of us that love sports, you can visualize what you'd want to, you've seen other programs. I'm a lover of college baseball, so I've been all over the country. I don't like flying, so I drive around in a car. I go to all these fields, and I've been to camps with my kids, and you visualize what you want your program to look like. You can't make it happen. The kids got to own it. And so when I hear other coaches honestly talk about leadership, it comes from them. And yeah, keeping in touch with them all the time. In fact, the relationship probably gets even better afterwards because they're free to kind of be who they want to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not gonna share everything with that.
We're not going to ask.
But I don't have. Yeah, but they're, you kind of know who their true character is when they're playing for you, and thank God they play by the rules. But after that, especially the ones that want to continue playing, a lot of them will say it's not the same. We miss that, and part of our job is still keep coaching them. I think just more so on life stuff, and then it kind of flip flops in terms of teaching the baseball part. I'm asking them. So, and I know that's true of our other coaches too, that don't have like teaching jobs, that they love it. And I was explaining that to somebody else the other day, just that as a player, we'd all love to keep playing as long as we could have, but somebody told us we weren't good enough. We got Casey Kelly on our staff. We got to play a little bit longer than all of us and actually got some money for it. But to watch these kids learn that it's not about that, and that you're getting an education, and it'll always be a part of your life. I think the coaches realize, geez, I miss this. But I think Eric will say the same thing. You get to compete, you just don't get to be on the field.
Well, yeah, totally. Because we're not getting rich coaching high school baseball. We're not doing it for a paycheck by any means, because my wife would have been long gone by now if I was basing my career off that paycheck. So, but no, it's the love of the game, and I know I'm probably feeling the same way you are, knowing that D1 baseball's opening this weekend. There's already been games going on, and the itch, and it's nice outside. It's not. I'm not getting work done because baseball season's here.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh no, that's. They're always talking. People around here talk about Mariners, of course, right? And so you only get to talk about them for a month usually, and then you get tired.
Absolutely.
So that's always my take when I hear the other coaches talking about them. At least I get to enjoy college baseball till about the second week of June through the College World Series, and about the All-Star break comes around the 4th of July. That's when I start watching Major Leagues.
We'll talk about that too, because you've taken your summer team and you've done this trip a few times, whether it's been a full team or just a handful of guys. But talk about taking your kids in the summer to Omaha in one of the best settings in college baseball, I would assume, or baseball in general.
Honestly, Eric, that started when I was 13 years old. I got laughed out of the dugout last year because I brought this notebook from when I was 13 years of age, where I was keeping track of my innings. I had the University of Miami's field drawn out and where my locker was going to be.
Wow.
And there was probably, I know for a fact there was one college baseball game on a week on Sundays at 5:00 ESPN.
Wow.
And I watched the Miami Hurricanes play the Maine Black Bears, and that's where that all came from. And I was 40 years old when I took my sons. They were probably 8 and 6 at the time, to Rosenblatt, and it was its last year. And that was just a dream. Again, I don't like flying, so I drove, and Grandma and Grandpa lived in Mississippi, so we went across the country back twice, and I think we saw about 20 to 25 different D1 baseball fields, and our goal was to sneak into the park. Yeah, we're like 24 out of 25 and sneaking in the park. So
wow, that's so cool.
And then we took from there, 2011, and I don't say but a group of us, there's 32 kids that went back and played games in South Dakota, and we went and watched the College World Series, and that was just a great moment. And then I took some individual kids back here just last year. And because of what happened to me in the spring there with my health and stuff, I thought I got to start doing more of that stuff. I don't know what parents trusted me enough after that happened to let them travel across the country in a minivan with me. But
well, that's before we wrap this thing up, I guess John's got another question, but before you ask it, obviously the SELA matchup during your league games, That's always a good one. But who else in the league are you kind of is going to be in the top of the?
That was going to be
cream
my
of the crop?
question. Take us a tour around the league, Coach.
Yeah, I think people are going to be looking for paybacks on us because we have been the bully on the block for a little bit, and then Sela recaptured that last year. But I think both of our programs will still be really strong, even with the losses. They lost some guys too. They do a good job down there. The team on paper that I would say if anybody was really favoring, it would be East Valley because I believe they have 8 starters back and all their starting pitching.
Wow.
Yeah, and so they probably I don't think they've enjoyed playing third fiddle to us and see the last couple of years. And they do a good job there, and so they're going to be tough. And then the other team that's a little bit like us that was young last year but made a run is Ephrata. So, and then Othello they're always tough. So we're in that tiered division, and so the upper teams are always going to be good, and even the lower teams are starting to get a little bit better. So
yeah. Just curious, Todd, where is Davis going to potentially play some first, or is he going to be in the outfield mainly?
Of course, we're going to try and take care of him. So we really don't know.
Yeah.
Time will tell.
It could be, him throwing the first game, limit his throws because he can control that more from the outfield a little bit. And even maybe he DHs if he's throwing too much. We want to be careful with that. And then, but he actually is a great first baseman, not just for his range, but the first time we put him there last year, he looked like a natural first baseman. Yeah. And Hunter would have occupied that spot if not for his injury. And then there's a couple of young guys that could probably fill in there. We're hoping that a few kids show up. Usually they do that we didn't even plan on. I heard there's a few new kids in school. A couple of Texas kids. So we got one from California that threw 94. If these guys are throwing 94, we're going to start getting looked at by the WIA, I think.
I think so. But, heck, I'd take it any day there, Coach.
So
yeah.
And then infield, you got, we were already talking about infield, but you got Riker back. Is he going to stay at second, or is he going to kind of move into that short position?
I think he's probably going to have to move to short. That's what Riker, it was good for him as a freshman that when you lose 3 reliable infielders off of 2 back-to-back state championship teams in a third place, they occupied between Xander, Gage, and Trace. Those are the only 3 that played it for 3 years.
Wow.
So we're pretty lucky, and they're all high-level players. Well, they're all college players. And Riker's, I'm excited about his ability, and he's growing a little bit. And he loves baseball, so you want a guy that communicates and leads from shortstop. I'd say he's a front runner for that.
Sure.
Well, that kid works his butt off. I can see it from just other off-season stuff. So
yeah. And there's some other kids that they're utility athletic type kids, so I could see them playing outfield or infield.
So it's still, everything's kind of being figured out still, a lot of positions.
Absolutely. The most we've ever had to do since, I'd say 2011.
Yeah. Where do you see Max Burnham when he's not pitching?
Well, him and Gavin rotated at third last year. Both do a pretty good job. And so that'll probably happen unless there's a need for one of them over at the other corner at first base. If we move Davis out there, and then I don't foresee them going to the outfield, but possibly.
Yeah. And
he's a good third baseman, Max.
Yeah. And then center, obviously Riley Seed covered a lot of ground last couple of years. Where do you?
Yeah, just in.
Is that the position too that's just kind of up in the air?
It's open. Joe Ewald had a pretty good summer, and he's a senior. He reminds me a lot of Dylan Young. Nobody knew Dylan Young's name. I love pulling those guys out of the hat. Here he hits in the 9-hole for us, and was fast and just worked his butt off in the weight room. Was a great teammate, number one, and then played all left field for us pretty much the whole season last year. And he had a home run on senior day. I think he hit over 300 for us. So
Yeah.
I can see Joe Ewald, very similar to Dylan Young, and he's literally logged less than 10 at bats, I'd say, on varsity. And so I love, when they think you're down a little bit, we might be a new team, but they're going to say, where the heck this kid come from?
That's right.
He's just really steady.
Yeah. Hey, there was a video last year that kind of went a little viral, I guess, in the community on Facebook, because I think you called a home run from third base. You looked back at the camera and said, "Watch this."
Yeah,
What was the
I got
scenario?
pretty lucky.
What's that?
I got pretty lucky, but I think Eric probably has been down there at times, and you can kind of see when a kid's just the trajectory of the ball matches up with the kid's swing. And I don't know, there's a camera there. I never really get on camera, so I turn around and told him. I really thought he was going to get him. I just didn't know it'd be that pitch. And I didn't. Of course, I thought it. I was like, oh my god,
who hit that ball? Was it Dylan?
That was Dylan Young.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
The only home run he had of his career on senior day, and
That's awesome.
Yeah.
it was just it was because I knew what he had put into it, and it's one run. I don't recall if anybody was on, but it's just when you see a kid that works that hard, you get paid back.
Well, I think calling that kind of puts you in the league of a Mike Blowers call there, Coach. So calling home runs left and right. So
yeah, thanks, Eric. Don't mention that name. That guy hit a grand slam off me when I was playing Pepsi Pack.
Seriously?
Game. Oh yeah.
We'll have to get a meeting set up and get some talking out here. But
yeah, the ball landed in the tennis courts out behind left field. So.
Well, at least it was against a big leaguer, not just a guy that was done.
Yeah, that sounds like that's a special podcast interview right there.
We got connections to Blowers. We can make it happen.
Yeah.
So, well, Coach, we won't take any more of your time.
Thanks, Coach.
We are going to have you back on here in a couple more weeks for get you in studio. But thank you for joining us and taking time out of your day today, and good luck this season.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, Valley Sports Talk fans, we are here to wrap it up. Luke, we accomplished something big right now.
What's that?
John took off the cloak.
The what?
Remember?
Oh,
He'd been
that's
sitting here
right,
in his
yeah.
invisible cloak from Harry Potter. How we introduced the episode.
Yeah.
I recorded yesterday.
I'm here. I was here in spirit, though.
Well, you were here. You just wrapped in that invisible cloak with Harry. You were being a sneaky
That's
guy,
exactly what it
taking
was.
notes. He wanted to get the inside
That's
track.
exactly what it was.
Guys, we recorded on 2 different days. That's
all right.
What it was. You know what? Life happens and scheduling gets hard, and it's springtime. Expected to get even harder sometimes. But anyways, let's
It will
move
be
on.
very difficult because we're all going to be either outside doing yard work, maybe practicing a little baseball, or somebody here will be working on their golf game, maybe.
Luke
That's
will be
right,
owning
yeah.
the golf course, which I think we should have a fun drop-in episode.
From the 19th hole.
Absolutely. that's when it'll be the best one. And actually, if you guys saw yesterday, we posted the one with Coach Fisk, the signing day special, and that was a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
You know what we were talking about, obviously I wasn't there for the interview, but watching the episode and then talking to you guys, things like that, you just can't wait for spring ball to start. And then after spring ball is done in April, early May, that's a long spring and summer before football starts again. There's more to life than football, but man, it's so fun. Yeah. And Fisk is passionate about it, and I'm glad he found time to get in the studio.
And he's coming back. We're going to do another spring episode. There's talk of Thursday night football somewhere in town. We'll see if we make this happen. Thursday night football, you'll come out to a restaurant. We'll have Coach there. We'll have some high school coaches, some players, and get behind that. If you want to sponsor it, shoot us a message. Just throwing that out there. Fishing season's coming. The last point on that is if you're a community member and maybe you've kind of been so-so about the football program or not supporting Central Athletics, Coach Fisk is a guy that you can rally around. He's good for this town. He's good for this community. He is dedicated to bringing in quality people. He's going to bring quality athletes, but he's going to bring quality people who are going to go on to be great people and you need to get behind that and support that if you're a sports fan. So, but we're here for Would You Rather. There's rumors we have a sponsor for this segment. Another one coming up. We'll announce it next week probably.
Sounds good.
Because I gotta go visit this company here next week because some taxes are coming up. So that's just a brief little who it might be.
Little hint there.
A little hint. We're super pumped about that. And thanks to Fitterers Furniture for sponsoring us again. And Would You Rather? Spring's here. I'm wearing the Mariners jersey. It's a Griffey episode. Pitchers and catchers have reported already. So we'll go straight to that one. Would you rather do you get more excited about pitchers and catchers reporting or the first day of the NFL training camp?
Luke? Or are you still thinking about it?
Well, do we count just pitchers and catchers reporting?
Well, pitchers, it's like, to me, it's pitchers and catchers, and like a couple days later, everybody's there. So we'll just say the week of everybody coming together.
I think NFL training camp because it happened. Because like a month later, then they start playing.
Right.
Don't they? Spring training takes forever. I feel
It's
like.
a month. It's a month.
Is it?
It's about a
It
month.
always seems longer.
Because they're starting their games during our spring break in the middle of last week of March.
So they start in February.
26th.
And the first game, when's usually the first game?
Well, this year it's March 26th.
Okay. So
The
it
first
takes, like,
spring
2
training game
months.
is next week, the last week of February.
Yeah. But everyone doesn't play for about 2 months, right?
Yeah, a month and a half.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the start of spring training. And the reason why is when I think of baseball, I think of just sitting in hopefully good weather, watching like professionals do the best that they can, the best, the professionals at the, top of the game, and just sitting there either in outfield grass or sitting there in nice seats, enjoying the sun, enjoying the company. And I know baseball is a long season, but it's one of those things where it's just so fun to watch. So I don't get me wrong, I really like football too, but on that question, I'm going to say pitchers and catchers.
I guess you guys know what I'm going to choose. I mean, it's a pretty
Yeah.
no-brainer. Pitchers and catchers, mostly. I mean, football camp. I'm on a harrow bed working. Spring training. I'm getting jacked for the season. And if you haven't, go down there because it's the most relaxing thing. And only carry your cell phone with you for the simple purpose of taking pictures. Don't answer or to make your friends jealous.
That's right. That's right.
So we'll go. I'm definitely a spring training guy. I'm kind of bummed I'm not there right now. Okay. Coach Gibson he's a big college baseball fan. College baseball World Series, or go to the college softball World Series. Either got Oklahoma or Nebraska. Softball's in Oklahoma. Baseball's in Omaha.
I'll go softball.
Mm.
Yeah. I want to go to Oklahoma.
Yeah, better barbecue there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I'll give you two answers. One, I'm gonna say both because that's just
And you
you're
can
gonna
do
have
both.
the most rabid fans there,
Yeah.
right? I mean, in an incredible venue. Both of them are historic venues, craziest fans. So I'm gonna say both. But honestly, right now, given the life that I am, and I am, a dad of two princesses, we'll just say, one of which plays softball. I'm gonna have to go with softball World Series right now.
I want to do both because if I ever hit the jackpot and win a bunch of money, we're going to spend a week in Oklahoma, and then I believe a week later is the baseball World Series because college softball is fast, fun, and I think they're nuts for how close they are to home plate.
Yeah,
The ball comes off pretty hard. But Omaha would
Fast,
be
fun, a little crazy. That is
Yeah.
what you're saying.
If you go to Omaha, Tony Quirk, Central alumni, Ellensburg alumni, he went with his dad, I believe, and he went. There was no dog in the fight. He picked one team, and each team has a bar. Like one bar is themed Michigan or Vanderbilt, and all the Vanderbilt fans go to that bar.
Wait, why
after-
didn't you say like Texas, buddy, or
Texas?
Long Beach State, or
Yeah,
Come
those
on
are,
now.
those are great programs. Texas, rest in peace, Augie Garrido. That was-
Whatever.
anyways, okay, we got
But
this.
does that mean Tony Quirk buys the first 13 rounds?
Mhm.
Okay,
Absolutely.
All right.
And
Thanks, Tony.
He's another guy that doesn't like to fly, so he'd be going down with Coach Gibby, and I'd go for the experience of riding those two. So, okay, it's kind of the similar of the one before. Would you rather go down for a weekend of spring training, watch 3 games, or opening day front row seats?
Opening day. Easy.
Because it's real baseball. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah. You have something to say, John?
No, we were talking about this during the break, and
Well, you guys never even been to opening day. This should be
yeah,
something
that's what we
that
were
you
saying.
Jump
is
all
opening,
over.
I'd love to. I'd really enjoy being there for opening day. I'm looking at a picture of Safeco Field that you have on your wall here, country,
Yeah.
and
Might need to move that to over here.
but I'm gonna say the spring training just because it's in Peoria, where it is warmer down there in Arizona than it is here, and so I'm getting the whole experience of just enjoying baseball and weather. So yeah,
for-
spring training.
How many is it? Did you say games or weeks?
For a weekend.
A weekend.
3 games, basically.
Oh, yeah.
What about you, sir?
Spring training. Opening day's fun for a day, be a one-time experience, but I always want to go back to spring training. Actually, I kind of think there's a possibility we'll get to go this year. I don't know. It's during spring break and practice. And
Do it.
I want to. It'd be fun. Maybe Luke will pay for our tickets.
That's right.
That's true. Being he's the returner. The other thing coming up here soon, very soon, in a couple teams. I'm not sure about Ellensburg how many wins away they are. Kittitas boys are 2 wins away from the state tournament, but the Ellensburg girls and the boys have a shot still. And what's your favorite state tournament for any 4 seasons? I kind of think I know what his is going to be. One of them.
Yeah.
You have your answer?
No, not yet. I bet you're going to say cross country.
What's that?
I bet one of yours is cross country state because you've talked about it.
You know, it was I think I'm the one that brought up this question, and now I'm having a most difficult time thinking of it because state cross country is absolutely incredible, especially when they're coming down that final hill. But of course, then this year, through a scheduling snafu, I mean, state volleyball for Ellensburg was literally in their backyard at Central, which was really cool to be a part of. Of course, I can't tell you how many, Spokane basketball tournaments I've been to. And there's nothing against the Sun Dome or the Tacoma Dome, but that Spokane Arena is built for basketball. So, I mean, that is a really fun tournament. But I also want to say, state track and field. When I was in your position, Luke, as a sports editor, I went to multiple track venues and just saw some really incredible times. So it was my question to ask, and I can't even give you an answer. So I'm going to say all of the above.
I'm gonna have to go state basketball. That was pretty fun watching the Kittitas boys last year, and basketball is always pretty. I mean, just like last night covering the Ellensburg boys, it was really close, and those kind of games are really fun to observe. Or
Those guys
doesn't matter if
stepped
you're
up,
working.
too.
Yeah. State golf is cool too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Well,
pretty
especially with Crimp winning it and stuff. I mean,
yeah, that was really fun. It was fun how it played out. Like I knew if she shot 75 or under, I was gonna go, and she shot 74, and I was like, I'm just gonna go, and she ends up winning it. So
that was a good chance. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's no brainer in Spokane Arena, the 2B state tournament, because it's clean.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how many times I've sat center of that net, or not net, the curtain hanging down with my dad, looking at both games on each side, and you get your food in the first half because you don't miss any second half action at the state tournament.
Heck no.
The other thing is a throwback because I liked it when it was all regionally in Yakima. A baseball Final Four weekend is awesome, especially when it used to be championship day at County Stadium with the Bs through the 2A, I believe. And you got, B, 1A, and 2A. 3 games in one day of dog piles, winning state titles. Usually sunburnt, terrible when we got back with my cousin Aaron, and when Nate was older, and my cousins and my dad and my uncle and I sitting down there watching. It was where I fueled my hatred for DeSales when they won 23 out of 25 state titles, and Kittitas got beaten 95. Anyways, so that's my 2. I wish they'd bring it back locally for baseball, but Spokane Arena, you can't beat it. That's just pretty phenomenal.
I think the thing with state tournaments or state competitions is there's so many, and we could rattle off. I mean, we just did rattle off a bunch of like personal experience. So the venue is one thing, and the community is another. But you can remember, Kittitas winning 3 in a row. I can remember in 01, 02 when Stephanie Ulmer just destroyed everybody in the javelin. I mean, just there was no doubt, and I just remember that. I can still remember hearing this gasp of people just thinking like, "Who in the heck is this girl?" You know, just that kind of stuff, and so yeah,
That's awesome. Well, that wraps up episode 24. I think it's going to be a little lengthy one, but it was worth it. We had thanks to Coach Sherrell and Coach Gibson for joining us today, and keep on the lookout for the next week or so for the spring softball one coming up. I believe Coach Phillips is actually going to join us in-house. The kid,
we're going to be blessed with his presence.
He is going to make time, whether I kidnap him, old school style in the movie, throw the thing over his head and throw him in a van. Just kidding. I'm not trying to condemn myself to getting in trouble.
Hey, we're on the podcast where all of a sudden just became an accessory to a crime.
Yeah, but Phillips will be here if he has hand ties. You know why. Anyways, but no, thanks for calling in and being a part of the episode. And please share. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Get on the YouTube channel. We're got videotaping here. Check out our setup. So I forgot to take down our shirt because I'm probably not going to take it down. Western, you suck.
One of us has to wear it every episode.
And it ain't going to be me.
I think it's going to be Luke.
Yeah,
He's the one that fits in that.
That looks like it's going to be a little snug around the biceps.
Yeah, I've been doing too many curls. But no, check us out. Please share on Facebook. We've been getting on there quite a bit. Keep a lookout. I've been sharing Luke's articles and posts and stuff. And you know, what a great time to be a Valley sports fan. You got state basketball, playoff basketball, spring sports around the corner, and tell a friend about us. Spread the good joy of Kittitas Valley Sports Talk. So
That's right.
Anywho, until next week, be kind.
See you guys.